essentially, in a nutshell, the process. And of course, you've got like pretty much everything has like these rituals that you have as we go through. All right, I wake up in the morning, podcast, I do my workout run. I've got different rituals. I watch for lunch and then watch after work. So everyone's got a sort of routine like that. So
that's awesome. So moving into 26, I have a little.
喂，聽到嘛？聽到嘛？各位，聲音畫面有冇問題啊？大家聲音畫面會唔會好嘈啊？嗰啲啊，有冇啊？over，各位聽到嘛？隔離嗰啲聲有冇呢度嘈到拆天啊？有冇聽到啊？有冇問題嘅？聲音畫面有冇問題？多謝大個女朋友俾嘅小奇點啊！OK 係嘛？咁啊，開台啦！1點20分又要睇TAT GOR，聽到嘛？聲音畫面有冇問題啊？各位，聲音畫面都冇問題啊嘛！歡迎大家嚟到啊呢個加拿大溫哥華嘅呢一個直播間啊！呢一個係我上海嘅朋友啊，趙 VV。Hello。係啦，咁啊，我哋咧就呢一度咧就喺 EA 嘅總部啦，而家咁咧就聲音畫面係咪確認多次冇問題先？咁咧我哋就喺 EA 嘅總部啦，咁啊佢就有一個時間咧，我哋插播咗一個嘅呢個直播 section 啦，咁就可以咧傾下偈啊，分享一下嗰啲。你要做過來一些嘛？你要
我看兄弟們。
OK。
你說了沒有？不用管我。
咁啊，而家即係隔離啲鬼佬收唔到咧，咁我同大家講下。咁我哋呢幾日做過啲咩咧？就係嚟到總部啦，咁啊當然係打下機啊。喂，夠唔夠大聲啊？而家咁樣我咪好啲啊？聽到嘛？而家應該夠大啦嘛，好啲啦嘛。Good。咁咧就我哋呢幾日嚟到做咩咧？咁啊嚟到溫哥華，我哋要玩 FC26啦，咁梗係。咁我哋咧其實咧就已經玩過嗰啲 beta 嗰啲噶啦，我哋已經玩過一個 beta 嘅 gameplay。咁我有同佢對打過啊嗰啲，咁試玩嘅手感。咁其實咧我哋一陣咧都會一齊睇一個最新嘅 trailer 嘅，即係啱啱早幾分鐘嘅時候咧就已經播過啦。咁啊我哋玩過嘅手感咧就係覺得嗰個身位系統咧，我撞人嘅呢個過癮啲啦。咁啊，其實咧有啲嘢我哋唔講得嘅，即係我哋只能夠試。我說，
我聽得聽唔識講
？OK，
我聽。
就說我們玩過了，就是但是有些東西也不能講。對，例如話咩發毛最多人留意嗰啲 Ultimate Team 嗰啲啦，但係整體手感你覺得怎麼樣呢？就是遊玩的體驗，你覺得？
就對抗更強了嘛？
對抗就是身體對抗啊！佢都係話嗰個身位嘅系統咧就好唔同咁樣嘅啊，發毛咁啊，仲有就係有個揀，我覺得最大嘅唔同咧就係咧而家咧好似街霸咁樣嘅，佢咧就係有一個叫現代輸入法咁樣嘅，即係你扭波以前咪出 skill move 啊，扭蘑菇嗰啲嘢啊。OK，他說製作人會來，他要跟我聊的。
OK。那你們聊
好，謝謝。
沒問題，你們玩，拜拜。
係，我一陣製作人要嚟。Yeah，nice to meet you。我哋嘅製作人嚟啦。Hey, have a seat, please. Yeah. Hi. Sorry.
No worries.
You can sit near. Yeah, and then first of all, we make sure your voice is okay. Can you like test your mic?
Yeah, for sure. Can you hear me?
聽到嘛？大家聽到嘛 ？Hi boss, they say. Can you see? Hi boss.
Yeah.
Clear? 係咪清楚啊，各位？我扭大少少嘅現況位啊。All right, nice to meet you. Please introduce yourself to our great audience.
Yeah. So my name's Paul Parsons. I'm the lead producer on the gameplay team.
Yeah. 佢有 Paul Parsons 啦，就係我哋嘅 lead gameplay 嘅。So like can you like tell me the greatest difference between FC26 and FC25 in the gameplay wise? Yeah.
The biggest difference is the responsiveness. You'll just feel your inputs show up in the game much faster, and whether that's making a pass, whether that's dribbling, everything you do is going to feel a lot more responsive than it did last year.
咁咧佢就話啦，即係最緊要咧就係 responsive 啲咧，即係好靈敏啲啊！即係尤其是你係成日上網同人比拼嗰啲咧，咁你就會覺得咧反應快好多。So I've just talked to my audience about the newly. There's a simplified input about the skill moves.
Yes.
Why would you like to invent this system? Because like a previous FC or yeah, you can see they are quite competitive. You have a really complicated input and like hundreds of skill moves. You have to memorize what kind and the input method and the direction. You know that each direction is different. It's quite hardcore. Then I think this is your traditional way in the controlling or the competitiveness. Why suddenly you introduce this? Yeah.
So this is in large part for people who, cannot, access those skill moves because of whether they've got some sort of accessibility issue or are new to the game and are still learning how to play. And so we've made sure that the way that we've put it into the game, that if you're in competitive play, you can't use it as a quick fix to just chain skill moves together and gain a competitive advantage. But if you're somebody who has like a limited input, so for instance, we spoke with one member of the disabled community who plays with his feet. He can.
Feet?
Yeah.
Using the feet to control the controller and doing the skill moves.
Yeah, he's a high division online player.
My God, okay.
But he can't input a series of complicated inputs, but he can flick the right stick in order to access a skill move. So players like him will now be able to do something that's core to the gameplay experience. And then if somebody's new to the game and they wanted to have access to some of these skill moves, they can do that. If you're a competitive, like a high-end competitive player, you're going to want to use the existing system because you'll have a more responsive skill move available to you.
So that's why you have a quite balancing. Like for the newcomers, you can use a simplified one and get into the game, and then gradually into high level because you can use more complicated moves, so you can use back the traditional the way we do.
Yeah, and you have more control over which move you use in a given situation, whereas it's just a small list of moves that you have access to with the simplified.
So can you like the difference? I mean the skill sets in simplified mode versus the traditional one in FC26. Yeah, can you?
There's only about 10 moves that are in there, and they're
Maximum 10 moves.
Yeah, it's about, and then it's just contextual.
Okay.
In certain situations, a different one will trigger, but there's only up, down, left, right for what you're going to trigger. So it's a pretty basic system.
So I'm going to tell the audience about how the simplified input works. Is that when you put 即係你拉嗰個 right stick 啊，嗰個右 analog 去邊一個方向 to which direction it automatically do the skill moves he thinks that is suitable to go to that direction.
Yeah,
right?
from the list of moves that we've said it can access. So it doesn't have access to the full range of skill moves.
好啦，咁佢就係簡單啲咯，即係點樣平衡咧？就係話呢個 simplify 嘅咧，就係可能得10招嘅啫 maximum。咁咧，但係你傳統咧就有for the traditional and FC26 is like more than 100 or like
Oh yeah.
yeah 有百幾招咁樣嘅好啦，咁啊而家聲音話咩有冇問題啊？有人話咩睇下先 check 先Oh, they said that 10 skills is preset or you can customize that.
No, it's preset by us.
Well, that preset that customized. So many of my audience also is curious about. I talk about the positioning, the shielding system. Like when you are without the ball, is that you can like just like a trailer. It's not animation. You can really control the player to come against the defender or stuff like that. How do you control it in what way?
So it's the left trigger is
Okay.
all of the shielding physical actions are controlled by that left trigger. So when you're waiting for the ball to come in, left trigger to hold the player off. When you're dribbling, left trigger to try and body the defender away when they're coming in to try and tackle you. Same as the defender coming in and trying to block you off the
So
ball.
just like the previous one, we just pressing the L trigger or L2, so you can shield the ball. But in the trailer, I can see people like really like a shoulder attack, like a American football. Is that how to trigger this animation to do that?
Yeah, it's the left trigger to do it.
Timing is the
Timing is important. Yeah.
Okay, so when people just come by or just like one frame before you press it,
Yeah, you can't just spam it when you're running. That won't work out for you. You need
you
to.
can't spam it. You have to be, okay.
Yeah, you need to find the perfect moment when they're coming in, and then if you hit it, you'll get that pop away.
Okay, just like fighting games now, I think.
Yeah.
Street Fighter stuff and then.
In a lot of ways, FC is a fighting game masquerading as a sports game just because of all that head to head.
Yeah, actually, I think so. Like doing the combos, like skill move 1, 2, and then 3, and then you pass through, and then shot, and then all is about similar to fighting.
Yeah.
Yes. 好啦，咁啊，大家有冇啲咩問啊？好 ，Would you like to answer this really hard question?
That's actually really fun.
You see about this
Yeah,
word?
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
want to talk about it?
It doesn't exist.
So I mentioned it. Do you want that? I take a
I mean, every year people ask about scripting in the game.
Yes.
It doesn't exist. I mean, the simplest way to put it is there would be no benefit for us to have it in.
Okay, let me explain that. 啱啱咧聊天室就有一個好尖鋭嘅問題，就話 FC 究竟係有冇 scripting 啊，即係有劇本啊。That means people always tell us about the rumors like, oh, when I have like 3 win streaks and the system to make you like run slower, hard to score, always like hit the bar and something like that. So producer is going to
Yeah.
crash these rumors.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've always said that it's not something in the game. There would be no benefit for us to have it. We want the best players to win the games, and like the only thing that we found was kind of affecting the game later in the game is fatigue. And that would affect responsiveness. And so sometimes later in the game, you'd feel like, why doesn't my player have as much pop? And so that's why we redesigned fatigue this year. But there's no like scripting or anything like that. It's just we want to make sure that the game is responsive the whole way through, but that's not a thing, no.
This is the Mythbuster FC 26
Yeah.
version. If you got any myths you want to ask, you can ask right now because we have our dear producer right now. Oh, speaking about the fatigue, you can explain the new system. Yesterday I've heard that in the competitive mode, you said fatigue is no longer exists now. So the players are now it's always full speed. You can sprint. Is that it?
So in clubs, there's still short-term fatigue, but not long-term fatigue. In Ultimate Team and any other mode that's using competitive, there is no short or long-term fatigue on the player you're controlling. So the other players on the pitch still have fatigue affecting them. If you do teammate contain, that player will still have fatigue affecting them. But we really wanted to do this because when a player was fatigued using the old design, they would not feel responsive. You'd have Mbappe late in the game and he would just kind of, be doing this.
Yeah.
But it also plays into making sure that, you have to be manually defending your team because late in the game, you need to be going up against, your opponent is going to have somebody who's at full speed.
咁我簡單啲嚟講啦，今集咧佢就話fatigue is that also includes you mean the stamina, right?
Yes.
Yes. 咁佢就話咧就係話今集咧我哋嗰個疲勞系統啊，就係當你用緊個 player 嘅時候咧，即係你用緊個球員嘅時候咧，佢係唔會減廢嘅力嘅。咁直到佢俾其他人用咧，佢就 會扣體力或者點樣。總之你控制緊嘅時候咧，佢就可以全速前進，同埋唔會受傷。咁啊，佢話因為呢個要加強嗰個競技性啊 ，Esports this is you want to facilitate in Esports like experience when they are in a high level of competition. You want to have a less randomness and you want to be more precise. The win or lose is based on their skills, right?
Yeah, I mean that was a really big, just kind of North Star for us this year was we want your skill to beat their skill and to take the system out of it as much as humanly possible.
People also talk about the button delay. Can you explain how you try to fix this? How you improve the responsiveness in this way?
Yeah, so I mean, we did a lot of things, but a couple of the core things were we diving into the engine. We got the passing down so that we were able to make a pass in as little as 1 frame delay. So you make a pass 1 frame before the ball gets to you, and you're still able to deliver a pass instead of a trap. And then we also increased what's called our animation coverage. So the best way to think of this is like learning a language.
Yeah.
Where if you have a limited vocabulary, you can only communicate.
Simple, just like me. My English is not that good. Just composed by.
It's pretty good. Better than mine. But whereas if you expand the if you expand the words that you know, and we have more. Our animation knows more words effectively, we can make more angles and things like that. We have animations that can cover more situations. And so when you make a pass, you try and make a harsh angle instead of the player trapping and then passing. Now we're able to more reliable make that pass right away.
Okay, let me translate a little bit. 咁佢就話咧點樣令到你話 button delay 嘅問題減少咧？佢就話啦，因為以前即係佢而家今集咧再錄多咗好多啲真人嗰啲動作，咁咧做咗你當好似係學語文咁啊，就有啲 vocab， 咁嚟傳播佢一錄多可能10種動作，咁咧佢就話以前可能某啲位去即係嚟某啲遠少少嘅位啊，咁佢個波去傳球或者射門嘅動作咧，唔夠呢啲詞彙去講啊，就會慢啲。咁樣佢一錄多咗好多款嘅時候咧，咁就可以令到佢快好多啦。Is there any changes to the penalty system 啊？我哋去下一個問題。When people leave the competitive game intentionally, this one, I think you are not supposed to.
Yeah. With the information about that will come out later.
因為我哋呢家咧係一個 gameplay 啊，我哋個手感嘅問題，我哋係唔答呢啲咁嘅嘢㗎。OK 唔知一陣有冇 gameplay 咧？我哋一陣會睇呢啲嘢。你有冇仲有關呢啲 gameplay 嘅嘢想問咧？咁咧我哋就可以趁而家答。Okay, let me think about it. How about the sliding tackles? For me, in FC series, it's always difficult using sliding tackles. I mean, it's hard to touch. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Even I want to do a intentionally foul is because when you are facing Mbappe and they are running very fast, and then when you just slip by very fast, and when you press sliding tackle, first of all the delay question, you can see when you press sliding tackle, he delays 1 or 2 frames, but that guy or the attacker already passed through. The second one is that I think the sliding tackle in FC tends to, if you don't really run, it don't move a long way. It doesn't have a distant, like a far attack. So it's always just sliding tackle on the same grounding area, which let the attacker pass through. But some emergence case, I think sliding tackle, just like a real match, we have to do that intentional foul. So is that any difference here?
So I mean, this is part of why we added professional fouls last year, the ability to just
hard tackle.
so you don't risk a red card in those situations. But we also this year we're really looking at how can we make sure that the outcomes of tackles are fair. So you don't excuse me. So you don't have to make the perfect slide tackle in order to get the ball back. That you can slide across the front or from more angles and still have a successful tackle. And then also when you do make the tackle, trying to minimize those situations where the player then just immediately gets the ball back and keeps going, because that's extremely frustrating.
Yeah.
So this year we have more instances where we allow a leg or a ball or something to clip through the other player, or when you have a tackle, instead of letting the player that you just dispossess the ball from, instead of them just immediately turning and getting the ball, having them stumble a bit farther so that you then have a chance to get the ball and move with it. And so we really looked at the tackles as a whole to make sure that we reduce the amount of time when you make a tackle and don't get the ball, because that's you won that encounter, you should get the ball.
I always face that when you tackle and then the ball bounce back, like when you're facing Messi, because his ball controlling attributes too high, he can immediately grab the ball back and then just pressing the R1 the dribble and then and pass through.
So internally we call those tackle backs. And we know that it's a really high point of frustration for people. So we spent a lot of time this year on minimizing that, and you will notice when you play the game that does not happen anywhere near as much.
咁佢就啱啱講咗個彈波嘅問題啊，好多人成日話彈，即係一攔截完咧就即刻彈翻入去。佢話今集咧係好想解決呢樣嘢。
One of the things we saw in
Oh, this is an interesting question. How do you balance the attack and defense when you are trying to improve both sides? In this year, would you say it's favored to attack orientated or defense oriented?
I mean, we never wanted to favor one or the other.
but be honest, I think it's always in the FCC. It's always
so there's a couple of different
attack oriented, because you have hundreds of skill moves and the badges, a lot of attacking attributes. This really favors to score rather than it's always. You have a hard time when you're defending, especially in the high level, like the weekend lead and stuff. You understand.
Well, I mean, I think that people would agree that it's more fun in Ultimate Team. I would rather lose a match 4-3 than 1-0 because scoring goals is fun.
Yes.
So we want the score lines are going to be a bit higher in competitive, and they're going to be lower in authentic mode. But we have one designer whose entire job is defending. It's just I focus on defending, and then he also does a lot of the positioning stuff. So that's when we make changes on dribbling or passing or things like that, he's always looking at the impact of that on defending. And in fact, this year we kind of reorganized our gameplay team so we've got a core group that we call the fundamentals group, and they are just about maintaining that fundamental balance of the game. So whenever we do any change offensively, we always ask the question, okay, well, how is this going to impact defending? Because it's a really critical balance, like your viewer said.
And for there's also I have a question about traditionally, I think FC, the speedy players, the player who runs fast, who got the higher agility, is more strong in this game. Traditional, like Holland, Ibrahimovic, our new icon, it's quite hard to use, I think, because they are slow, even they are strong, but before, without the shielding system now, I think it's quite hard to use. Is that
Well,
you try to improve the situation this year?
yeah, well, I mean, we did a lot of work this year on physicality, and shielding is much stronger this year than it was last year. So if you have a player who is playing that more hold up style, they're going to be much more effective this year. Being able to pass the ball into their feet, they can hold off the defender, set somebody up, or set themselves up for a turn and a shot. Using those shielding mechanics, I think people will find when they first play the game, they'll play it like 25.
Yeah.
And then I think that people will pretty soon realize that shielding is a powerful tool to use, and it's not just all about speed.
Yeah, I hope that it will make the gameplay more like a variety of like play styles. Yeah, because like last year the 25 FC 25 in FUT mode, you can see is just the players. You can see you seldom see any like Ibrahimovic or Haaland stuff. They like R9, Mbappe, Neymar, like already like many years you can see those players. So that's why I hope this year you can improve it and then make it more fun to watch, because like same players on the official, even the tournament, you can see they more or less the players they pick, the pro player picks is more or less the same. So how about the header? This year, is there any problem? Like long time I'm suffering lack of header goals, because it's always like high out of the bar and not accurate. Even for those with the badge, they can hit the ball but never in a really good direction or position. Yeah, even with the power header, it's hard to score with header.
Headers they're a complicated thing for a few reasons. Like
why? Yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, so one of the most complicated things about a header is that when you pass, who are you passing to? Because you get a whole bunch of, if you think about the math, the angle, and there's a bunch of little targets in there.
Yeah.
How do we select who is your specific target? And then the question of actually directing your header, and then the perception of skill. There's this kind of perception that if I gave up a header goal, it's because the system gave them a goal, as opposed to it being skill driven. Right?
Someone said it's not contains a high level of skill because you're not passing the good position and then right angles to score. It's just like random cross. Someone blames about it. Yeah.
So we're doing a lot of looking at headers and saying like, in what situation is this header occurring? Is this a cross where there's space and the person's, has really earned that, or, but then looking at corners and how we balance those between competitive and authentic is different. But probably the biggest change to headers this year is adding that ability to do a low-driven header, where you can drive the header into the ground and try and get that kind of bounced header instead of just directing it at the net.
So 好啦，今集咧為咗改變呢個頭像勁啲，所以 the low driven header will be double tap the shooting button, right?
Yeah.
佢就係你連按兩次咧，就會有啲即係叫做地波啊，即係無論係射門地波又好頭槌咧，都會有呢一樣嘅嘢嘅。咁所以佢就話呢樣嘢可能會改善啦。So this is just to improve, like when you do the header, they always like high out of the bar, and then so when you precise double tap, and then you will try to hit the ground, and maybe there will be a score, right?
Yeah. It's just some variety, and it's adding more skill to the heading moment.
好啦，跟住有啲人講咩咧？佢就話啦，咩啊 ？Are we expecting？睇下先 ，Are we expecting the AI to do more？ 哦，好啦，呢個問題都有趣。Are we expecting the AIs to do more crossing, early crossing, and header like football players do in real life? Quite tired of those repeated gameplays of short passes and cutbacks. Yeah.
So I assume they're talking about an offline play, and the answer is an unequivocal yes.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of work, not just on emphasizing that, but also giving you more variability in how the AI plays against you. So one team may play a certain way and another team may play another way. So if you are playing, say, in career mode and you go up against Barca, they'll play more of a tiki-taka style, where another team might come at you and be trying to bomb in, crosses, or they may be bunkering a bit and trying to counter you depending on your relative ability. That's something we spent a lot of time this year on in order to have variety from game to game.
Oh, I have an interesting question. In every episode of FC, when it starts, there will always be like an OP scoring method. Why would this happen? I know you guys will immediately try to nerf it or fix it to make it more balanced, but why would it emerge? Just like you explained the header, I would like to, in development-wise, why would this emerge out of these cases? Yeah.
It's about scale. So we test as much as we possibly can, and then we release the game, and immediately there's like millions and millions of games played.
Yeah.
So with that many games played, people are going to find problems that we couldn't find because we just can't test at that scale. We do a lot of automated testing where we'll have like a computer play thousands of games and try and see if it finds holes, but players are smarter than computers, so they will find things. So what we've actually done this year is we've always had we patched the game in the past the same way we did 10 years ago, where we'd have to wait too long to respond to some of these metas when they first popped up. And this year we've totally rethought how we approach patching, so we'll be much more responsive this year. And so when something starts to emerge, we'll be able to spot it and address it hopefully fast enough that it won't become a meta in the community. It'd be something that okay, that's there, they found something for us, now we can fix it, now we can get into the game and not have it become a big deal.
So this is the follow-up question. Will the load-driven shot always, the new skills always will be the OP scoring method? Do you think that the load-driven shot will be like a OP scoring way?
I mean, we haven't made the game to be that way. So when we balance the game internally, it's not an OP way of beating the game. So what will happen probably when the game comes out is it's not just about the shot type, it's about the context. So it might happen that somebody realizes, oh, when you're in this specific spot on the field and you do this combination of things. It's like, perfect example of this was power shots last year, where we balanced power shots by saying, oh, well, there'll be a wind-up delay. And then, somebody out there said, well, I'll just pass, and then the wind-up happens before the ball gets there, and I get the benefit without the cost. So we said, okay, well, I guess we made a mistake there, and then we need to fix that, right? So we will have, this game is all, this year we keep on saying we'll listen to people, and we listen to people, and that's how we got here, and that will not end at launch.
This is the first time I'm having like a producer here answering those difficult questions, and he is willing to listen and answer right now. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, my pleasure.
咁我就話點樣解決呢啲 OP 問題咧？就係話即係盡量咧去即係反應快啲啦，即係聆聽大家意見啦，即刻去修改啦咁樣嘅睇下先。哦，睇下先。Oh, like in your personal idea, your personal feelings, which is your most favorite attacking or scoring way? Like tiki-taka, those short passes, or like the cutback stuff, or like a long shot. And
I'm a big passer. Like some of the guys on our team are very good dribblers. And I'm not, like, it's just I like to pass the ball around a lot. Lots of passing, trying to find seams and things like that. That's what I find most enjoyable, and that's kind of my focus. I do get a little frustrated because I'll cycle it through the back a bit more. I like to play a bit more of a real world style of play.
Yeah.
But I'm much more about passing than I am about intricate dribbling through my opponent.
Then do you feel like passing is not the good way in the competitive mode in?
Oh, it definitely is. I think that if you have the best people are good at both, right?
Yeah, the best people or the skill move guys. I always call the skill move guys, and then they don't need to pass. They just dribble, and then you understand what I mean. They just when they start the ball in the midfield, and then they just dribble, and then So, I hope this year will be like the defending more favorable in like they are more slightly a little bit difficult to dribble through.
Like one of the problems you'd have last year, somebody who's good at dribbling, when they got challenged, if you have a player with high control, it's like, well, not every tackle is going to end up with the ball going back to my opponent.
Yes.
Whereas if you're a really strong dribbler, what you'll find now is you'll be punished for your mistakes a lot more.
Really?
You're going to, if somebody delivers a tackle, they're going to get the ball away from you. It's not going to bounce back to you anywhere near as much as it did last year.
咁佢就話啦，今集咧即係嗰啲好似三國無雙一個扭10個嗰啲咧會渣咗好多嘅，即係佢就話應該會即係如果你真係成功攔截嘅咧，就會咁樣可以搞會成功攔截到咯。咁你講外掛啲咧，唔係佢處理嘅，即係啱啱有好多人喺度問緊外掛嗰啲問題啊。咁呢個咧就唔係呢位製作人可以處理嘅，因為佢係負責淨係嗰個遊玩體驗啊，我哋叫遊玩體驗 ，OK？ I don't think this is your area, like about the cheaters and no.
I'm between the whistles.
Yeah. 佢就話佢就喺球場上嘅時就可以問，你問呢啲咧就冇用。Why do you remove the time finishing system? Why?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, you know how people would complain about things like, Travellas last year?
Yeah.
It's a great example of this. So, what happens is you're more accurate when you green time finishing, right? Mm-hmm. Not everyone can do that. A lot of players don't play with time finishing. But what this means is we have to tune the game twice.
Yeah.
So you've got players who can green time it. We need to make sure that a green time shot, for instance with a Travella, is able to go into the net in a beneficial way. But then the tuning for somebody who can't green time it ends up, getting saved. So that if we make it so that some Travellas can be getting into the net, then the Travellas for a green timer are always going into the net.
Okay.
And it just complicates our attempts to tune the game.
Okay.
Yeah, so ultimately the good players are green timing every single time, and then other players are playing without it, and it just overcomplicated our attempts to tune the game. And we came to the realization that if we keep time finishing in the game, we're not going to be able to properly balance it. So by removing time finishing, we're able to much more effectively balance the game, and then it also freed up our ability to bring low shots back into the game, which is such it's something that happens in football. It's a legitimate kind of shot, and then if you have low shots, then it's also on us to make sure that they're not overpowered, and that goes now into doing a lot of work on the goalkeeper to make sure that goalkeepers are able to save those shots.
咁我同大家翻譯下啦，今集咧係整走咗個綠燈射 time finishing 嘅，咁佢就話咧，因為咧咁樣係好難平衡嘅，佢所以咧佢就移除咗啦。咁所以咧佢就話，例如以前咪話佢一綠燈射，佢就覺得一定要入嘅。跟住咧，但係有啲人係唔開呢個綠燈呢個系統啊嘛，咁佢就話，咁佢又要平衡咯。咁冇嗰啲，如果必入就太屈機，咁佢話究竟要點樣拿捏呢個好難，所以咧今集咧就移除咗呢一個咁樣嘅系統嘅。I'm the one who always can get the time finishing. This is my strong weapon, but it's okay. I think it's more fun to not because it's not that easy in real life in those trivela shot or the Song Hong-min, the curve shot. Yeah. And I have a question about why you decide to split authentic and competitive. For me, I'm always a big fan of authentic gameplay, like in FIFA 08. That is quite slow and it's more difficult to get a score. Then when you score, you feel really excited. Yeah, I get a treasurable goal. You understand what I mean? But now, the recent one tends to be more like a competitive one, encourage more score because it's more fun, entertaining to watch and stuff. And I think like splitting them is also like a great workload for you guys development. Authentic should be more in that way, the AI should be in this way. They tend to be more like not doing the dribbling skills, pass more realistic. But for the competitive one, you have to encourage people to do difficult skills to differentiate the skill level.
Yes, so a lot of this, I mean, last year we said, okay, let's have a slider preset for people who like more of a simulation style. But this year, last year really taught us a harsh lesson where we tried to be a bit more simulation style in online play at the start of the year, where it was more like, okay, you need to position your body better to make a pass and things like that. And it did not resonate with online players. They weren't fans of it. And so we shifted back more to 24 in the new year, and then the offline players said, this is not what we're looking for. And we said, okay, instead of trying to, make the game for both people with one tuning, we need to push. We need to just commit to splitting and not just on a slider level, just say fundamentally, what are some mechanics that we need in order to really service those two audiences? Because we really value those two audiences, but we cannot make one game for both groups and still give them exactly what they want, and we want to make sure that we give them exactly what they want.
But for me, it's always quite complicated when you have invented the slider. Like you've got so many details when I get into the career mode, and then will there be any like presets?
So when you turn on authentic mode, a bunch of the sliders will set to different settings, and then it also turns on the mechanics that function differently. You can turn those mechanics on and off if you want. You can change the sliders if you want using custom settings. If you're somebody who's like, no, I want to go to Operation Sports and look at a slider preset that they have, feel free. Like, you can do all of those things, but we've made it as simple as possible for you to access an authentic style of gameplay that we've also supported from a code level.
But that's the one you think is quite good for people, for most of the people to enjoy the gameplay one.
We've effectively tuned it to what we enjoy the most. And there's a number of people in our studio who are offline authentic primary. That's the mode that they play the most. We've got our career team that is playing, exclusively on authentic mode, and making sure that, that experience is what we think is really, really good. But I mean, we encourage our fans to go and play around the sliders as much as they want.
How many motions add this year? I think they're asking like motion capture about the players, the animation coverage you said.
I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but I believe it's cited in the pitch notes if anyone wants to look it up.
They're asking about pressing the R3 button, the stick, and then you can lock.
Player lock?
Player lock system. Player lock. Someone is asking about when you try to flip the right stick to change people, and then when you lock, I think you can switch the one you lock, and they found that it's difficult to lock the right person, I think.
I mean, it is one of those skill gap things where it is a very precise system to to utilize. I can't use it. I'm like
Me either. I don't use it usually. Even I'm quite a fat guy, but I don't use it. I can still score.
But that kind of thing, which player you're selecting, like pass receiver selection and target lock selection, those are things we're always tuning. We're always looking at how can we make this function better.
Because they are asking about the I think FC24, you're just pressing L3 and then he can switch the lock guy, I think. I don't know because I don't use it. I may not be able to really facilitate the question you want to ask. 好啦，咁啊，大家仲有冇啲咩想問？冇，我哋我諗呢個放呢個製作人走，因為我哋時間差唔多㗎啦，啊。有冇？Oh, they're asking about in real life we have some really slow defenders, but it's hard in this game. Will there, besides the physical, you say, the shielding or the positioning, will there like more intelligent in the positioning? Because the slow, why they can exist in the high tier league? Because they have a good mindset and either tackle really accurate or they can have a wide positioning. Will there be any improvement in using these players?
I mean, we don't have any, increased logic for those players in the positioning system because we want to preserve manual defending, and if we made them, smart in their positioning, everyone would just fill up their center backs. They'd play a back three with players who are smarter, and then we'd be right back where we were. So those players, are beneficial in certain situations for certain things, but there's a trade-off for every single player in the game.
好啦，我覺得都差唔多啦，我哋可以即係多謝呢位製作人啦，佢 share 咗好多啦。So I think almost at the end, do you have any really want to say to our Hong Kong audience how you do really hard to explain to the audience and then we can understand.
Honestly, the thing with the feature set this year is it has to be in your hands to really appreciate it. I'm super excited for it to be in people's hands. It's not like saying we've got Rush this year, we've got FCIQ this year where we can put it up on the screen in front of you and show you everything. It's really about the gameplay, and for us, I mean that's great. Like we're all gameplay fanatics. To have a whole year to just say let's refine this core gameplay into the best gameplay we can make was a really, really satisfying thing to do.
Okay. Thank you, Paul.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love this streaming. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate that. And even my audience is quite tough and then asking some questions, that may be quite difficult to answer, but you feel very generous and then answer them very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
喂，聽到嘛？咁啊好趕啊！其實啲時間咧，其實應該可以 set 好啲咪 set 嗰啲雜音，跟住有啲又唔知隔，因為呢個係一個空間咧，好奇怪，即係佢隔離有啲人喺度講嘢啊，行嚟行去，係一個 open area，即係啱啱見到嗰啲有喺隔離咧傾下偈啊，咁而家 OK 未啊？畫面好暗啊！教下咯，冇時間 set。哦。我哋佢正常咧會唔知係咪會有人趕咋？ 還好啊，啲聲 OK 啊。我咩中華籌款熱線？喂，唔會暗係嘛 ？OK。咁咧，我哋咧而家咧趁佢仲未趕我哋走啦，我哋不如一齊睇嗰個新 trailer，即係我哋完啦係嘛？我唔知之後仲有冇嘢要我做，好趕。嗱，希望大家中意啱啱個直播啦。佢咩？今集我哋 FC26嘅主題係咩咧？就係 We are hearing you， 我哋係聽緊你意見啊！啊，即係好似嗰啲議員嗰啲，我哋收到市民嘅聲音啦，咁樣嘅，佢會喺度咁樣咯。咁所以，我覺得呢個直播都幾有意思，即係你真係嚟總部同唔同嘅製作人傾偈啊，即係問啲問題啊。你諗下係直播喎，即係幾難答嗰啲佢都肯答，而且呢一個 Paul 啊係大佬級人馬嚟嘅，即係尋日我哋上堂咧，我哋會喺度講今集有啲咩改變嗰啲咧係佢講，同埋咧啱啱我想講咧呢度咧啱啱有啲人喺度掩樣嘅，上一手嗰啲有啲老外嘅，好煩啊！整嘢整到一仲擺部電腦，即係用完之唔走，我都係想頂佢，啱捉佢都係揼。我哋睇少少啦，趁佢冇催我啊嘛，好嘛？各位，我哋一齊睇個 trailer。啊！睇下會唔會好嘈先？會唔會 OK 啊
Make gameplay better.
？Make gameplay better。
Fully focus this.
喂，等下先，都唔 OK？會唔會好嘈？細聲少少啦，你都係聽我講多㗎啦，係嘛？啊！仲大聲啲，有版權冇咧。好嚟啦，逛啊逛啊，boom boom 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 boom。你 gameplay better，我話呢啲嘢咧好難講嘅，即係講係易啊，但係 overall 點樣整到樣嘅咧？我話睇下有啲咩新系統。第一，嗱，今集咧就分開咗兩樣嘢，有一個 competitive 啊，即係你上網同人對賽就要 competitive gameplay 啊。咁另外一個咧就叫 authentic gameplay 嘅，即係就懶真實嗰啲咁樣嘅，通常係。好啦，我哋改變咗呢隻 game 嘅基礎啊。咩跑步嘅速度啊、控球啊、身位啊、射門啊，跟住仲有咩 community 啊，即係嗰邊啲係 community， 即係大家玩家講嘅嘢啊，我話你啊，聽下嗰啲咩 big exchange。好，第一樣嘢咩啊 ？online mode 嗰啲咩啊？佢就總之咧就係啱啱講啦，就係 online 嗰啲就係全部跟住 competitive gameplay， 跟住另外 offline 嘅 authentic 就係好寫實 competitive 叫競技啊！我幫佢做埋翻譯啦，就係咁樣。佢話呢個咧令到大家咧可以感受到 skill level 嘅 difference 啊，即係嗰啲遊戲玩法啊嗰啲啊，即係佢話咩？嗰啲控球會快好多啊！即係真係即係你一喐佢就會即刻有反應啊！嗰啲咁樣啦，傳球又勁快勁準咁樣。跟住佢話咩啊？佢話係嗱，呢啲攔截準確性咧喺呢個競技性咧就要好緊要。我話以前啊，成日嗰啲你截完個波彈翻去人哋度，好多人都鬧㗎啦。呢個香港好多玩家都講呢樣嘢啊。好啊 ，authentic 係咩咧？就係話真人踢波啊！即係佢盡量似翻寫實，即係可能有少少嗰啲隨機性啊，嗰啲咁樣。佢話都會問，即係佢話都問靈敏嘅，都唔會話操縱到令你 delay 到爆嘅。就算呢啲 authentic 嘅 gameplay 啊，咁對比競技模式啊， 個 AI 嘅防守咧會有少少唔同嘅，即係你 competitive 咧，你個防守可能就真係要手動防。咁呢個 authentic 寫實咧就可能會多啲呢啲 AI 幫手啊，企位嗰啲可能好好多。呢啲就係我哋叫 gameplay fundamentals 遊戲嘅基礎嗱，就全部修改晒，兩個唔同嘅派系，呢啲咩攻擊防守都有唔同啊！嗱，佢話今集改好多龍門啊！佢話以前啲動作好低能啊，咩撲完個波彈俾人啊！佢話今集你睇下，佢話會撲出去、負出去，以前係將個波撲完彈翻俾人，你有冇見啊？Streamer 幾時有得玩？我有玩咗啦，我唔講得太多，唔播得啫嘛。我話我呢度啲人唔知有咩事靜晒，我懷疑我哋整多陣，我哋都可能要走。萬一突然間佢要求我走佬，即係要去第二度，我就會緊急收台。佢話咧又係嗱龍門啊，醒啲啦。跟住佢話以前啊又話呢啲傳波，以前覺得好慢好窒。我話今集passing啊就會好好多，個波好流動性 fluid。我哋睇睇啲球啦，佢話以前啲走位好戇居，呢個我都同意啊。嗱，你見到話識得扮，哇褪前褪後啊，即係勁人就識咁樣啦。嗱，你睇下呢啲中意進攻型嘅後衞就會咁樣打。嗱，呢個咯，啱啱講話以前啲高大牛龜冇用噶嘛，今集就可以做到呢啲幫手。即係頂走人啊！好啊，撳得啱嘅話，可以一嘢撞到人飛天。呢個以前有啲咩嗰啲射地波啊，今集又翻咗嚟啊！其實我以前都好少用呢啲射地波。呢啲全部都係呢啲咩 update 啊！呢一個啊，呢個都係新模式啊 ，High Contrast Mode， 你有冇見到啊？即係令到你，即係你色盲嗰啲朋友咧，嗰啲異體好多。你可以教到咁樣，啲人成個綠色啊，連嗰個球場黑白啊，咁樣喎。有呢個新嘅啲 play styles 咯。呢個咩頂頭最勁啲 game changer。啲特殊傳播enforcer 就係呢啲撞人有。龍門啊都有啲咩 play style 有啲新嘅咯。佢係咪特登知道我問咗頭槌都特登整啲易入嘅頭槌出咗嚟啊？哇！黐線，真人呢啲嘢好難。佢話總之而家分咗兩邊，即係真實性同埋呢個競技性咧，佢話容易啲平衡，佢哋嘅感受會更好。好多 update 啊！哇，大家要留意啦，記得預訂啦。Get the icon today. 好啦，等我停鬼咗佢先。 好啦，咁咧我哋應該差唔多，我要睇下有冇咩要做。好似下一個我哋要整咩人物建模，我整好整翻執翻正個樣先。我哋會有一個達過嗰個 motion capture cap 嗰啲動作。哎呀，為咗聽聲搞到頭亂咗。好啦，多謝大家咁夜都仲睇，多謝大家咁夜咧都仲睇我哋嘅溫哥華 FC 直播啦，希望大家覺得幾過癮啦，喺呢個 EA 總部做直播啦，有製作人嚟啦，好啦，差唔多啦，多謝大家收睇啦，係咁先啦。完。拜拜拜拜拜拜。我睇下有冇總部有冇啟示啊嘛，問好，睇下人哋有冇咩問題之類。咁冇咯喎，我真係收線咯喎，拜拜。